Hey, everybody. Welcome back
Hello,
to
hello.
another Wayne's Deep Dives, navigating the depths of tech and business. And we've been putting out, and actually on social media, I've had a lot of interest about our topic today. We're talking about AI, and we're going to take it a little different route than some people talk about it. And today I have Mr. Jimmy Hatzel on, and his friend of mine, and he started up a new business. Many of you out there in the community that you know him as well as I do, but for those that you don't, Jimmy, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure, Wayne. And first of all, thanks for having me on. Love
Oh, you're
love
welcome.
what you're doing here with your deep dives, and it's a pleasure to be on.
Cool. So tell us a little bit
Um,
about yourself.
yeah, sure. So I have background, deep background in cybersecurity and tech. Really, worked at a number of different technology startups. Most recently was at CyberQP slash QuickPass Cybersecurity. Was at Scout Cybersecurity before that. Spent some time at Barracuda too. Been really my entire career has been focused on taking complicated technology and finding use cases for it for small businesses and packaging it up through their MSPs and helping MSPs deliver those services. So, the past couple of years, been watching what's happening with AI, and I've mostly been working on cybersecurity over the past 10 years, but I just, I saw so much opportunity for small businesses, and a very similar thing to what I saw 10 years ago with cybersecurity happening in AI. It made sense to go and start Hats AI. So that's what I did, and I've been at it now full time for about 3 months.
The and I really appreciate you letting me get involved in it as well, and asking me to get involved in it because there's a lot of different things out there about AI, and depending who you talk to, I mean the stories, ideas go everywhere. And of course, everybody's worried about security, which rightfully they should. With all the deep fakes you're seeing out there. Matter of fact, you did a post earlier today. I saw it. Well, and if you know what to look for, you can catch it. But if you're just glancing and don't really pay attention, it's tough. It's almost kind of like the movies today. When you get them, they're dubbing over, and it looks so close, but you got to watch real close. And you're like, oh, it's dubbed, okay. But it's getting there, and it's just going to get better because technology's getting better.
Yeah, and Wayne, if you notice the voice on that too, it was a Joe Rogan deep fake. And like the
Yeah.
video you could kind of tell, but the voice alone, if you weren't paying attention, it was pretty damn close to Joe Rogan's voice.
Yes, it was, and really, you had to watch the mouth
Yeah.
to really catch it. And plus, like the granular, where the little video bits were kind of off. You could tell that it was trying to mimic it a little bit, but there's plenty of those out there. So it, depending on what you go look for, just like the one they did on the Pope, which was they come in, there's all different type of things, right? But what's interesting here is, I mean, you and I have talked about this at length, and there's a lot of people going, they got Chat GPT, and there's you got Copilot out there with Microsoft and all those things, where a lot of these things are looking at taking conversational information and really streamlining and helping you with the information, or streamlining things from creativity standpoint, like Copilot does with the whole Office stack, right? That's really what it's driving you to drive that. But for me, and this is where you and I kind of hit it off in the same path, is when I think AI, I think about how can I streamline my business without changing anything else other than taking and streamlining the efficiency of what I'm doing to where now my business can actually do more, handle more without really making a lot of change. And so that's why I started looking at it and going, okay, how do we do that? And from an MSP VAR standpoint, I've had a lot of folks come to me and say, how are you going to do this for your customers? And my first response was, I can't until I do it for myself. And I think that's where everybody really needs to take a focus, right? Is that the same thing you're seeing with everybody you talk to?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. So the way I see it, Wayne, there is a lot of work to do with AI. And for small businesses to be able to adopt it, they're going to need a lot of help. The same thing we saw with movement to cloud, getting off your on-prem servers into like Office 365. And the same thing we saw with taking cybersecurity seriously, taking things like backup seriously, multi-factor authentication. Small businesses just couldn't do it on their own, and they needed a technology partner to do these things, and MSPs became that technology partner. Back then maybe they weren't called MSPs, depends who you talk to, but it's just the way the world goes. When there's new technology, you need help, right? You can't do it yourself if you're a small business. You're an expert in your law, right, or your medical practice, or whatever your vertical is. Like, that's what you're an expert in. You're not an expert in IT. So when something brand new comes out, you need help. And right now there is a massive shortage of AI talent in the world because all of a sudden everyone adopted AI overnight. So in order to meet the needs of today's AI talent gap, you would need to somehow go back in time in a time machine and convince a bunch of university programs to start offering bachelor's degree programs in AI, which they're just starting to do now. Before, you needed a PhD or a master's degree, or data science. You would need to convince a bunch of people to join. You would need to convince CompTIA and other certification organizations to have these practical AI certifications out a couple years ago. And then you need to train the whole workforce to be ready for today. And that is just not the case because we weren't ready for it until now. So this demand is never going to be met because every year there's going to be an exponential increase in the number of people who need help with AI, and there's going to be a somewhat linear increase in the number of people who are qualified to do it. So the problem is just going to get worse over time. And again, the problem falls on local technology providers or MSPs because they have to learn this stuff in order to help their customers, their existing customers, integrate it into their own business. And it's like anything before. MSPs are under the gun. They got to learn it fast. They got to learn it quick, but it's not a new place to them. Wayne's laughing, nodding his head yes, because we've seen this happen in his business. Mega trend after mega trend after mega trend after mega trend. So to answer your original question, yes, MSPs need to learn how to do it internally because they're the only option that there is for small businesses. And if small businesses don't adopt AI soon, the next 12 months, the next year or two,